So yes, we're here.
Howdy.
Bodybuilding prep is going pretty well.
It
is.
is.
I'm down here in South Carolina with the man himself. His name's Tristan, new bodybuilding coach / nutrition coach on the scene. He's my cousin. I'm visiting him. We've been getting some good work in terms of posing, in terms of weightlifting, and dude, like literally, this has been a full on bodybuilding trip, and it's been great. You know,
could be better.
Yeah, could be better. And
leaps and bounds and progression.
Leaps and bounds, and like you guys will see in this video that we'll be running through some poses over here. Like I now have a routine. I now am going through those different steps. Tristan has taken me along. I had a routine that you guys have seen throughout, but it wasn't a fluid, nice flowing kind of routine that looks like an actual bodybuilder. But now I've kind of gotten to that point where of course I have a ton of work to do and to work out, but definitely have had a lot of progress.
Yeah.
From your perspective, as a new coach, for those who don't know, what a coach is, and kind of giving like a background, like what you do, kind of like the progress that you've seen in yourself,
Gotcha.
And then also like coaching me in that aspect. So like, what do you think?
Yeah, so basically the very simple, very basic what a coach is. In my specific situation, nutrition, working out. So, either give you guidelines or real precise weights of what foods, when to eat, kind of thing, and workouts pertaining to, client's goals.
Yep.
Kind of just there to be the wind beneath your wings in some essence. Sounds a little corny, but it's kind of how it works, because I can only give the parameters, and it's just you got to do the work to follow it. I would say the biggest thing I learned so far is detaching from the outcome, and like truly detaching, because you'll pick up someone that is I want to do this, so down, I'm gonna be your best, I'm gonna give you, and then it's just like either they ghost you or they kind of just stop doing the stuff, and it's you just move on, and it is what it is. But pertaining to you, honestly, it's been smooth sailing. You know what I mean?
Come on now.
It's
Let's go!
you know how to implement, and you know how to get the work done. And if you have those traits, it's so easy, bro. It's a blessing.
100%. What are some things you think I need to work on? What are some things that you think might be challenging moving forward, especially because we're starting the cut not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, January 6th. So, like, what are some things that you think I specifically need to look out for in terms of training, in terms of nutrition, posing, like all those aspects?
Time management and I guess you could say a dedicated schedule in terms of food and other things, your posing routines. I mean, you kind of got the posing routines and, the habit stuff down, but food, you're going to need to, I wake up, or this time breakfast, this time this time that. Okay. And of course, life is going to happen. You're going to have the days, but you want to make that the deviation towards the norm. Yeah. You want the norm to be, consistent.
Okay, gotcha. So would you say just kind of like developing a routine that I can rely on a regular basis that doesn't add more challenge to my plate, because I'm already going to be in a state. And for those who don't know, Tristan, he did a bodybuilding competition. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen. About a year and a half ago.
Close to 2.
Yeah, close to 2 years. And yeah, he really knows his stuff. And like, I mean, you've guided me along this process. And I think one of the things that I've have been a little bit more challenging is, like, obviously we're on this trip. Right now it's between Christmas and New Year's, and so obviously we're still training down here, but I'm not on I eat the same thing literally every single day.
Yep.
Salad, pasta, vegan ground beef, vegetables, oatmeal,
protein powder.
And like you guys will find out soon, and has been catching on to you, the farts have been immaculate. And that is scary. A small crowd of children would not be safe. But being down here, what I've noticed is the temptation to, I'm eating a wide variety of foods. The temptation to indulge when you go to go out, and then to spend more money on things such as desserts, things such as drinks, things that make you more enjoyable, especially when you're in a social setting. Yeah. And I've noticed all these like temptations within me. I haven't given in to any of them because you're here, I have a protocol and I need to follow, but I can see how the normal person transitioning from, say, a bodybuilding or transitioning from a normal bodybuilder who has a wide variety, has wide variety in their diet, who goes out, parties, drinks, smokes, like does all these like, pleasurable activities, whether if they're doing them for the wrong reasons, that's another story, right? But like they do all these things on a normal basis, and then when they need to cut that back, all those temptations out, I can see how that adds, like, just not saying on my high horse, but like since I don't do any of those things, like you kind of pointed out, like it's going to make the prep. It's still going to be hard, but it's not going to be as hard.
Yeah, because you don't have the developed habits and inclinations of a normal person. Because one, you're a vegan, so you know what it's like to cut shit out.
Yeah, 100%.
And eating the same thing every day is extremely helpful. It's kind of just like, okay, instead of eating this, let's do this now every day.
Let me tell you something. I had Justin made me this pasta bowl with Beyond Beef, and he cooked it on the stove, which your boy never does. I just got to chuck it in the microwave, and guess what? He put seasoning on it. And when I tell you,
the difference,
I have never had such a great meal before. I was like, this is awesome. I love this. And I was like, holy crap. I have had no taste in any of my meals. Yeah. Because instead of seasoning,
balsamic,
and I go in dry, raw.
If you mix the two together, I guarantee you.
Ooh. Yeah. What, the seasoning with the balsamic?
You season the meat, you cook it up, and then you do a little balsamic over the top.
It's like you don't realize until you come into contact with it. Another thing that I have learned on this trip is like when training with you, and then also when I worked out in the hotel gym yesterday, where my man's shoulder, from breathing exercises.
Fucking aneurysms.
It was that lady that she probably goes to the gym, does more like cardio type stuff, and I was just obviously in a hotel gym. You don't have a wide variety of exercises from a weightlifting angle that you could do, right? With machines, dumbbells, you could probably get pretty creative with simple stuff. So like I was sitting on the ground and she was sitting behind me on the bikes. And I had my chin tucked like this while I was doing, fucking rows. And I was like, I guess I didn't even realize I've been doing this for years now. And so she didn't say anything while I was in the gym. So I walked out and I went to, I went to the elevator area and she was there and it was just us two in the elevator. And she was like, I just have to tell you something. And she was like, I know I shouldn't say anything, but you really shouldn't be tucking your chin while you're doing weights. This was after. And she said she's like, you might want to lower the weight, you might want to do something. And like, of course, me as a seasoned vet, but like as a person that's been bodybuilding for a while, I was like, at first I was kind of caught off guard because I was telling you yesterday the way she kind of framed it was like it felt like I was kind of being accused and attacked. But she was very nice, and I wasn't like I was very appreciative of it. But like long story short, she told me that, and I thought about it, and I brought it to your attention. And you're like, oh my god! And then what do you know at the gym today? Like you caught me doing it. So it's like it's like coming into the overarching general message there is that when I was working out with you this week, you pointed out a ton of things in my form. When we were doing lateral raises, anything, like anything, shoulder press, right? Like that, showing me tips and tricks, and that will allow me to become better. And like it's something that and you could probably touch on a lot is just when you share those pieces of advice that someone needs to hear. Mm-hmm. What's your kind of take on telling those things to, say, for instance, a client? Like, because I know it's definitely a hurdle you have to overcome, specifically like with telling people what they need to hear, because it's ultimately your job at the end of the day. Even though they may not want to hear it. So like, have you been able to kind of overcome that a little bit since you started?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to overcome those kinds of things when you have a like kind of foundation in relationship terms, because it's like, okay, in the coach-client aspect, it's you signed up for this, you agree, and I'm here to help you. Yeah. I'm not in any way being malicious about the things that I'm saying. It's only to help you. Yep. So in that sense, it's much easier than like going up to someone that you have no clue of or a very little relationship with, and then giving them advice because they may perceive it as a little, malicious intent behind it.
100%.
And But when it comes to the coach-client, so far, so good.
And I noticed that a lot with you because at first I think it was like just based on our relationship. It wasn't like something. I think me and you were more so on like the supportive aspect side of things, where if I told him something that like you'd just be like really supportive of it, and you wouldn't really share your opinion. But now it's like I want those things. Yeah. I ask for those things because at the end of the day, if you don't tell me, I'm not getting better, right? It's like on my end too. Like I when I'm doing programming, I know like there's sometimes like when I don't want to share things with Tristan because I like, oh God, I know what this is like, because I just fear what he thinks, like in those aspects, of course. Yeah. Not overall by any means. Or even like with Mikey, my other programming coach, like I'll put something into the spreadsheet that I'm like, oh God, he's not gonna like this. And then kind of like your two kind of combating philosophies when it comes to things. Like I kind of have been feeling that a lot too. It's not like a bad thing, right? It's just like which one do I follow? How do I balance these things? Yeah. In a right aspect.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of that, you just go back to the balance. Yeah, it's you don't. Yeah. Again, just my opinion is you take the two and it's okay. You could apply his method to, a compound movement within the workout, and then I would apply my slow contraction, stretch kind of method to potentially machine work, and if you're doing bicep curls, unilateral, but something that doesn't require the full compound.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you want to bring me down to 5 days a week, as well as just really lightening the weight, because Mikey's a power lifter, so a little bit more, he's more so on the strength side of things, and like definitely don't get me wrong, like that's a good aspect.
A great thing. I implemented that kind of mindset into when I was training for the powerlifting competition before I got injured, and I did bodybuilding before that, and I implemented Mikey's style, and I blew up. I probably put like 10 pounds of muscle just on my frame alone. Dude, so there's no right, there's no wrong. It's just a balance between the two and taking what you can from both.
Yeah, and I think, and that's something I've been feeling a lot lately, because I think it's getting over that hurdle, because I'm so used to this one style of training, powerlifting specifically, when it came to when we were doing lateral raises, and you're like, imagine there's like two heads, and you're just like throwing those up, and you're just like, the Credo style. And like when you do partial reps and then do quarter reps, and I was like, oh my God, this sucks. Like, this is awful. I was like, and like, especially like on calf raises today, and we were doing like, you're like really pause at the bottom. I'm like, shut up, Tristan. No, dude. But yeah, it's like, I think once really understanding like the intention there, and then also being able to implement that kind of piece of advice that you give really will allow you to get to that next step. And I think, really introducing more of like a, kind of your style with, the mind and muscle connection, slow, concentric, partials, quarters, right? Like real partials, real quarters on like every single, maybe like last two sets, right? Is definitely going to help like moving forward. And so like, how do you feel about like my posing specifically? Like what have you seen like this kind of past weekend? Like I know we talked about it a little bit, but like what's been your take on it? And you guys will see some clips on the screen now in my underwear. So yeah.
Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. I mean, like I said before, the improvement is huge. Yep. You kind of went from very much so bare bones of, you're hitting the poses, yes, but it's very individual, and, there's tweaks that could have been made. But now it's just, it's starting to flow, and that's kind of the main thing you want to get. You're getting confident as well within the poses, and I think you're doing real well.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you. Yeah.
And it's only
it's helping me so much, bro.
Yeah,
and you see things that like I don't see.
Yeah.
Which is like huge, and that shows like that's why I know you're going to be a really successful coach, and like especially moving forward, because dude, you were able to like fix up my routine like crazy. Like I thought my routine was like at the end was great, and you were like, wait, no, one more thing, like. The spacing. Like I was like, I was like dancing around the kitchen area over here. We're in a hotel room. That is beautiful. Posing wise has been very, very good, and moving forward, probably going to be practicing in the morning twice, at nighttime 3 times.
You do. You think of it in like sessions. Okay. I would do you run through the routine. I wouldn't do it hard in the morning just because it's fucking boring. Definitely. But like you just kind of like run through the motions in the morning a couple of times, look at yourself in the mirror, and then at nighttime I'd be a little more focused on, okay, let me hit it hold it, hit it, hold it. Continue to work on the vacuum, and then implement. I'll tell you after this, just because of time. But implement a breath hold system after the vacuum session.
Like, moving forward, what? So the series name, which I hope is not rather lame, even though some people may think it.
I like to.
Okay, cool. It's just like what's been in my mind. But I know there's going to be some people out there like, you're trying to rationalize bodybuilding to help people. Fuck you, bro. But yeah, like what is the series name? Kind of like when you hear the phrase "Don't let your future self down." What comes to your mind? What are some things words, phrases?
Do everything you can to not have any regrets.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. It's a nice quote that I got from Jordan Peterson, which was a good one that he got from someone else. I don't know. But the angel of death hangs on every word. And, in that aspect, it's just kind of like you could die at any time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no saying that you're going to live tomorrow, you're going to wake up tomorrow.
Understood.
So it's just live life to the fullest.
Live
very
life.
simple.
Simple,
very
man. 100%.
Straightforward.
Yeah, dude, don't let yourself down.
Just do the work that needs to be done and try to pull the maximum amount of potential out of yourself as you can. The potential thing lying, if you're lying on your deathbed and you're looking back on your life, I personally don't want to question myself and have that regret of thinking I didn't pull 100% of my own potential out of myself because of, whether you say laziness or anything like that, just not doing, not caring.